Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're in the world. Welcome to the Armory, welcome to Full Time Sports Network, and welcome to everybody on X. We've already got over 30 people, 40 people now watching, so thank you ever so much for tuning in. Let's get into the comments before we start talking about the news. Let's actually move that because I've realised I was going through it to make sure it was all working. Big up to Temi saying we are signing Sonogo. We are definitely not. Definitely not happening. Yeah, we're just not happening. We can move on from that, thankfully. Let's move on to the silver one. Big up to the silver one, saying morning, Bobster. Let the city season commence. Yes, I know a lot of people don't like it, but this is what I do, so I enjoy it. It can be stressful, but yeah, it's definitely going to be entertaining this summer anyway. For a lot of us, not just Arsenal fans, but a lot of clubs are doing a lot of business. So yeah, it's going to be a very busy summer. Temmie saying, hello, my friend. I don't want large Lukongo, Amadou Onana anywhere near my club. We'll talk about Onana, but Onana for me is one of those signings that I think will be done. We'll get on to who I think will be done. But Onana for me will be done. Big up saying loves the intro. Morning to Luke. Hope you're doing well, Luke. And big up to Tabs. Morning, Bobby. Hope you're well. Spurs are in for Emity Cabernet. So you guys better hurry up. Oh God, I love it. When I've see, the problem is because I'm autistic. I was reading that. I was going, I don't know that player. Now I've just realised we're on about. I love that. Well done, Taps. You nearly got me. You nearly got me. My autistic brain decided to switch off right at the right moment. I like it. Look, I love Onana. I wanted Onana before he came over to Everton. So yeah, I've got no issues with Onana. I think Onana will do exactly what we need him to do. So I'm all for it. No issues with it. Could be quite a cheap deal as well with the issues at Everton, but like I said, we'll get on to that in a minute. Honestly, it took me a minute because I honestly did think I can't think of that person. Now, obviously, I'm updated through every team on what they're doing and business and stuff, and I'm like, even I don't know about that one. So that takes that was impressive work to actually being told that. But anyway, let's talk about these. So we've got quite a few to get fingers to get through. There's not many slides, but there is going to be a lot of talking, so I do apologise. And obviously, unsurprising to a lot of people, we're going to have to talk about Benjamin Sesko. The situation is at the moment it is progressing and it is going well. With Sesko, Sesko it's common knowledge that he would love to come to Arsenal. However, Leipzig would very much like to keep him as well. So it's something that I feel could get done. There is a deadline for it to be done. If not, it's going to have to be put on hold and wait till after the Euros. But yeah, I feel that we can get it done. We've got the money. We've got the money to do it. It's not like we've got any issues financially because we don't. Like I said back in January, we actually had money to play with. We just chose not to. So yeah, Sesko for me is the most likely to happen forward wise. So this is for me a target that I think makes sense. It's not exciting as a lot of people would like to be excited by this summer, but he makes a heck of a lot of sense. He's young, he's still got a lot to learn, but he's already showing his qualities already. It's wage wise, it's definitely not going to be an issue. It just makes a lot of sense. It ticks a lot of boxes. It's yes, a lot of people say, "Oh, it's a lot of money to spend on the 20-year-old or 21-year-old now," but for me, it makes sense. It really does, and I hope that we manage to get it done. There has been a lot of positive talks between us and Leipzig. Obviously, Leipzig would prefer to keep him if they could. But it's something that we got. Also, we have to bear in mind is Chelsea are looking in the shadows as they always tend to for this kind of situation. So just kind of be wary of Chelsea. Chelsea do have a interesting way of doing business, which a lot of clubs do struggle not to turn down because if you're going to get a substantial amount more financially from the buying club, you kind of be tempted to take it. And Chelsea do have certain ways that can make teams be tempted to sell to them. I don't particularly like it, but it's legal and it's allowed, and it is what it is. Before I move on to the next one, I've said we need finished products, not Sesko, but if they sign him, I'm shamelessly backing him to shine. I get it. I get what you're saying with that as well. We'll talk about a more finished article in a minute. But yeah, look, Sesko, for me, from everything I've seen about him, everything I know about him, I'm absolutely fine with it. He's definitely better than Eddie, and that is for me the benchmark. You have to be better than Eddie. If you're not, then don't come anywhere near my club. But yeah, I've got no issues with Sesko at all. Are we trying to pay less than release clause? Right. There has been a rumor that we have put a bid in that was less than release clause. No, we haven't. We have no issues with the release clause. The thing is, what we have to be very wary of, and all the other clubs that are very interested in him, this is a time frame release clause. At the end of the month, that release clause goes. So right now, you can get him for 55 million. After that, Leipzig will be more than entitled to say, okay, we're going to sell him for 80 million. And to be honest, he's not worth 80 million. To be honest, in my opinion, he's probably not worth 55. Probably a little bit less, like 45, 40, 45 is what I would pay. But the release clause is there and anyone can trigger it. So if you trigger the release clause, it will be done. And all you got to do is agree with the deal with the actual guy itself. But I don't see an issue right now. But this brings me on to the next bit. Let's talk about Osimhen. Now, there's a lot going on the X, and there's a lot of rumors and a lot of the journos for Arsenal coming out and denying it all. Now they're doing that for a specific reason. They don't know, and they also wait for 2 or 3 people to confirm it. They haven't confirmed it, so they're not going to go with it. Now, the fact is, Arsenal do have a meeting set up with Napoli, not necessarily Osimhen, but there's something happening between Arsenal and Napoli. I don't know what. I'll be honest. I haven't got a clue. All I know is transfer related. Now, the interesting fact here, and this is very important, is Napoli are interested in not just 1, not just 2, but 3 of our players. Now, that is vitally important. Now, a lot of people need to understand this. We can do a deal which comes close to that release clause with people. So let's say Tomiyasu's worth, I don't know, 20 million, right? Jesus, let's say he's worth respectively 60 million. So that's 80 million. They also are very interested in Smith Rowe. Let's put 30 million on him, right? That's 110 million pounds. What's his release clause? 110 million pounds. We could literally do it that way. Napoli would have 0 issues with that. They might want a little bit of money, a little bit, like not a lot. They might take some of the value away from Jesus, Tommy, and Smith Rowe because of signing on fees and all that kind of stuff. So there might be a little bit of wiggle room, and we might have to pay a little bit of money. Let's say 10, 20 million. And I'll be honest. If that was the case, I'm taking it. And you know what? And this is the what people need to understand. I would actually take Sesko and Osimhen. I would take them both. I have no issues with taking them both. And the reason why is Sesko can play up front. and Osherman can play on the left. Now, everyone knows we'll be quite shocked by that because I love Martinelli, and I do. I love Martinelli. However, a front three of Osherman, Sesko, and Saka is scary. And you can also just twist it up a little bit because I know a lot of people want backup or rotation for Saka. You could, and this this could happen, is Osherman, Sesko, and Havertz. Good luck, defenders. That's all I'm going to say. Good luck, because that is a nightmare. But it's something that we need to keep an eye on. I'm not ruling it out. I've never ruled it out with anyone that's asked me about Osherman. I still think there is the slightest chance. I still think Arsenal will surprise us with a signing where like it comes out of the blue. But at the moment, Sesko is definitely the favourite. Osherman is a possibility. We'll get onto other targets very shortly. Osherman is not worth 100 million plus, 100%. I hope it's Kavicha we're going for. Well, that one is less likely to happen for any team. Napoli are, as far as I'm aware, quite close to signing a new deal with him. So I can't see that happening. They've turned down 2 offers from PSG. PSG, we've got to look at what PSG are doing, because at some point they are going to spend money. They want 4 to 5 players, and with Mbappe has obviously now gone to Real Madrid, they've got a lot of money that they can spend now. So I wouldn't include Tomiyasu in that trade. Jesus and ESR maybe, but I'm not sold on Osherman. Yeah, I get what you're saying. The price tag of Osherman for me is mental. You look at the AFCON. I wasn't impressed by him at AFCON at all. He didn't have a great last season. Now, normally in the Premier League, when you have a bad national tournament and you have a bad season, that normally has quite a big significant effect on your market value. Obviously, with Osherman, it's a release clause. Actually, it'd be quite interesting. I would quickly look up how much he's actually worth market value. So not his price tag, which is obviously 110 million. I'll be quite interested to see how much his actual market. Oh, actually, to be fair, his market value is 120. So in actual fact, on market value, we would actually save a little bit of money with the release clause. But yeah, it's a crazy one. But yeah, I kind of get what you're saying with Tomiyasu. Yeah, there's a lot to happen, and we'll go through that in a minute. Sesko and Osherman is easy an upgrade on Jesus and Eddie. That's how I look at it. That's how I'm looking at it. There's a lot of players to talk about in a minute that we've all been linked with, and it's going to show you how much the possibility there. But yeah, this is basically what we're trying to do is a Popeye. We've got the skinny squad at the moment. We're trying to feed ourselves some spinach and become Popeye the Sailor Man. So that's what we're trying to do with our squad. So to be fair, AFCON is diabolical. Good players can suddenly look poor and average players excel. I get what you mean, but when I put it with his performance in Serie A as well, it makes it alarm bells. I do get what you're saying regarding national tournaments. Sometimes they just don't work out very well. But when you put it together with the league performance as well of Osherman, then it's a slightly bigger concern for me personally, but it obviously hasn't affected his market value anyway. So big up to Chris. Hope Stranraer is doing you well. I think Napoli would be within their rights to ask for circa 80 million, but I personally wouldn't pay more than 65 million for Osherman. 65, I don't see it, if I'm honest. I get what you like. Obviously, me and you, Luke, are very similar ages, and I don't agree with the prices nowadays anyway. But I do have to also think that market values nowadays are a lot higher. So back in our day, 65, yeah. I think today, for me, he's only worth 80 million. Yeah. Honest answer is less down. To be fair, mate, it's going to be raining here in a bit. So, yeah, you haven't escaped it, even if you were in Carlisle. I'm sure it's going to be raining as well. Usherman was better last season compared to this season. Yes. Can't wait for the annual Murata links. There was one. It got quashed very quickly, actually, because he's got a release clause. I think it's like 10 million. There was a very quick link that I think some Spanish journalists try to do. And obviously, they have interest in Jesus. So they were trying to combine the two to say that we'll sign Morata and they'll sign Jesus. So that has happened. Thankfully, it didn't hit the British press, but obviously, what I do, I was told about it, and I was like, "Yeah, right." But yeah, not happening. Thoughts on Sesko? Not seeing much of him, to be honest. I like him. I like him. I would class him a bit like Haaland, and I don't want to be. I feel like I'm always being hard on Haaland. I don't mean to be, but I think Sesko has the capabilities of being a lot better than Haaland. Yeah, sorry, I haven't mentioned it. I wasn't going to mention it. I'm not even going to put. I've not even put on the list for the next part because it just ridiculous. It was I think it was one of those local Spanish journalists that tried to do it, and it epically failed. No, no one got hooked on it, and no one brought it to light. It's just something that I was told about, and yeah, it's just ridiculous. Anyway, let's talk about any other business. Lots of it. This is transfers in, by the way. This is three different sections: transfers in, transfers out, and then any other news. So we're still on transfers in at the moment. Right. So we've covered Victor Osimhen. We've covered Sesko. Let's talk about Youssef Fofana. Monaco. We have got a very strong interest. He will cost around 20 to 30 million pounds. I hope we get this done because I think this just makes total sense. He's 25. But yeah, it just makes total and utter sense that we try and do this. There is a lot of competition for obvious reasons. He is quality. He's extremely cheap, which is very hard nowadays to find in the market. I would say out of 10 chance, I'd say I'm on about a 5 at the moment that this will happen. There is a strong challenge from AC Milan. I think there is also United looking at the situation. Obviously, it's cheap, which at the moment United kind of need that at the moment. But yeah, big up to Dermot. Transfer money has gone mad. Are not worth the money they are going for now. I love Spurs to sign at least 5 players and 1 a striker. Please hope you well, Bobby. You will be positive to know that you will be signing at least 1 striker and probably will get 5 players in. So yeah, we should be going for Barella. Barella has just signed a new deal at Inter Milan. So one, it's going to cost him an absolute fortune to try and release him. And 2, Inter Milan clearly don't want him. Inter Milan clearly don't want to sell him. So yeah, not happening. Every big club will sign at least 4 at 5 max. Every big club this summer will have a very big window. It's going to be probably one of the best windows as neutral football fans would enjoy. Honestly, it's going to be fantastic. No competition for Saliba. We were lucky he didn't get injured last season. 100%, Temi. We are going to be covering this situation. We will be buying a new centre back. We will be buying a new fullback. So, yeah, we're basically going to be, like I said, we're doing a Popeye situation, getting some spinach and feeding our squad and bolstering it. So goalkeepers, there will be 2 coming in. Obviously, Raya, we all know about. And there will be another one because Ramsdale will be leaving. So there's another good quality goalkeeper coming in. Centre back, Fullback will be coming in. It could be a versatile fullback as well. Could cover the right and the left, which possibly allows Tomiyasu to possibly leave. I don't know if people were 100% aware, but Tomiyasu, when he signed a new deal, it wasn't for a very long time. I expect 2 midfielders, and I also expect a winger and a striker to come in. So currently I'm on 7. And until told otherwise, I'm sticking with 7 because no one's told me I'm wrong, saying that the winger will sign 7. There will be some youth signings as well, some like 16, 17, 18-year-olds that will come in for like a small amount. Probably expect us to spend about 5 to 10 million pounds on some youngsters. There's 2 in Croatia that we're looking at. We've got a new one coming in from Northern Ireland. We will look at more others as well in time. It's just to basically bolster our youth academy. So, yeah. I would expect 5 signings at Liverpool, another right back, another centre back. Your centre back, it looks like it's going to be Yoro, the youngster from Lille. Another winger to replace Diaz. Diaz, I'm not 100% sure if he's going at the moment. It's a big question mark. Big question mark. And Salah is also a big question mark. I don't know what Arne Slot has done, but currently less likely to leave at the moment. Gallagher replacement. You are being linked with Ramsdale, weirdly. I don't get it, if I'm honest, because it changes no situation for Ramsdale whatsoever. But yeah, Gallagher is going to be leaving. I just beg we play Trent in midfield, then it's sorted. Well, there you go, exactly. Right, so where were we? Right, we did Fofana. Amadou Onana, for me, will happen. I'm 9 out of 10 this will happen. I think it will cost around 50 to 60 million, which I think will be a great deal. João Gomez being linked with us. Don't think it will happen. I think he'll cost too much. There's going to be a massive price tag on him. Premier League player, youth as well. We all know how talented he is. So for me, won't happen. Joshua Zirkzee, we have a contract on the table. I don't know how much more will develop. I think it's more of a case of we've got a plan A, plan B, plan C all in operation. So currently there is an offer for Zirkzee. I don't think it will happen, but it's a possibility if things go wrong. So that's that one covered. Brian Broby, doesn't make sense. I'll be honest, doesn't make sense. It costs, I think it's about 80 million, something close to like that. It just doesn't make sense. He's just not the type of player that we want or need, if I'm honest. The profile that we have been looking at is strong, mobile, can hold up the ball. Broby is not that type of player, so it doesn't make much sense in my opinion. So yeah, we'll move on from that one. Justin Biljal, I don't know how you say his name, to be honest. The goalkeeper from Feyenoord. This one I do think happening. Yeah, this one I can see happening. It's between us and Liverpool are the 2 biggest teams after him at the moment. Alexander Isak is another one. Not going to happen. The only way that Isak or Guimaraes would ever leave Newcastle, and it won't be down to release clauses or price tags, is if they start to say that they want to leave. Then that obviously forces their hand. Currently, don't see it happening. Desire Doué from Lens could happen. Could happen. Lot of money though. If this was to happen, and I believe that his brother is also rumoured to be leaving as well. If this one was to happen, this would be for a future window. So we'd probably agree a deal, keep him there on loan, and then eventually he'll come in next summer. If that was to happen, I just don't. It doesn't make any sense right now. With what we're doing, what we're trying to plan, it makes no sense to sign an 18-year-old kid that's never going to get into our first team. We've got Nwaneri. There's a lot to talk about Nwaneri in a moment. But yeah, if Desiree Doué was to come in, for me, he would be a signing that is potentially to come in for the following summer, not this summer. It'll be a loan back to Rennes, I reckon. Marcus Rashford, something to keep an eye on. That's literally all I can say about Rashford. We have had a chat with the Rashford team. There is a deal there to be had if things didn't go according to plan at United for Rashford. It's just not great, if I'm honest. So we'll move on from that one. FDJ, so Frankie de Jong, not going to happen. Hansi Flick, no, just not happening. Hansi Flick wants him, wants to set a team around him a little bit as well. Keeping on with Barcelona, Faye, the 19-year-old centre back at Barcelona. He does want to leave Barcelona. He's not happy not getting any first team action. This could happen. But I just don't see it happening right now. But he is a centre back option. For me, it'll be Hato from Ajax. I'm pretty much sure that this one will happen. Again, I think it might be a signing with the option to loan him back to Ajax for a season. But we'll wait and see. But Hato, for me, will be coming in one way or the other. Kadioglu, the left back from Fenerbahce. Now, obviously, Jose Mourinho has now just been appointed manager. He could be a spanner in the works. We have actually got an agreement with him. We haven't got an agreement with Fenerbahce as of yet, but it could be a little bit hard now due to the fact Mourinho is there. Nico Williams, we all know what we need to do. Pay the release clause, job done. Nico Williams, however, does want a lot of money. I think it's around £300,000 a week, which Arsenal are not 100% keen on paying, if we're honest. But it's one to watch out for. And finally, Raphinha. Again, Barcelona need to sell. They need to sell fairly well. I wouldn't say they need to sell really big this summer, but they do need to sell. Raphinha has been offered to Arsenal. It's one to keep an eye on. I don't think it will happen, but it's one to keep an eye on. Obviously, the window hasn't officially opened, and it won't open for 10 days. So not a lot will happen right now. But as I said, I'll do these shows twice a week, and I'll keep everyone up to date. But they are the ends of the ins. We'll move on to the outs in a minute. But I do want to get into the comments. Big up to Jones watching on X. I don't want Onana. He's not good enough, man. I get where people think, but with the style of football that we want to play, I think Onana will be perfect. He is a little angry Chihuahua, and he will just allow Odegaard to be a bit more free. I just think it will work. I just think it makes sense. It's also a very good price as well. Big up to Colonel Ward saying, hate Arsenal. Wants us to sign Osimhen. You blow your budget on one player when we need 4 realistically. Right. Our budget is around, we're going to spend, for me, definitely over 250 million. So, look, if you're sensible, you can easily bolster our squad this summer by still getting Osimhen. That's the crazy thing. Look, if we look at quickly, I'm going to quickly jot this down. So bear in mind, I'm thinking and typing, writing at the same time. So Kadioglu is 35, Hato is 30, so that's 55. Onana, I'd say 55 million. With let's say we get Fofana as well, so that's 80, 135. So that is 4 players already for 135. Biljal, the goalkeeper, let's say 15 million or 150. So we've got 5 players in. Then we need a winger and a striker. Let's say Osimhen, so that's 260. Winger Martins for 40. That's 300 million. 300 million, and we have just brought a very young centre-back that is highly rated. We've brought in Kadioglu, who looks amazing versatile fullback. We have brought in Onana and Fofana, two very good centre midfielders. We have brought in Nico Williams on the left, and we have I done this again? Oh, I hope I've got the right name again, so I keep saying Williams. And then Victor Osimhen as a striker. I'm quite chill with that, if I'm honest, if we can manage to do that. Hopefully we get Euro, but I see Madrid getting him. At the moment, mate, I'll be honest, Madrid have backed away from it. They've backed away from that deal at the moment. I think they're trying to do other stuff. And I think Euro is not what they need right now. But it's okay to sign Sesko, who is 20, make it make sense. Big up to Carl. Sesko, for me, as I said, I don't think he's worth that price, but I have no issues with it. I think he's good enough. But yeah, look, there's a lot to happen. We're all just getting fixated on one storyline. There's so much happening. Like we are juggling loads of frying pans right now, so anything can happen. And it's a little bit too early to just get carried away with one player. We need to be careful of just listening to journalists, because the English journalists back up the English journalists. They are pretty much anti-Italian, German, Spanish, because of the for obvious reasons. They wanted to be the ones that bring the Premier League news, not Italians, not Germans, not Spanish. The English want to be the ones that are well known for doing it. So be careful when someone says, "Oh, I don't believe it because it's all coming out of Italy. I don't believe it because it's all coming out of Germany." Just hold back a little bit due to the fact that other people have contacts, and they do tend to be in Italy, or they do tend to be in Germany. So just be very careful on who you listen to and who you believe. That's all I'd say about the window. Just be very careful. Big up to Boods, big up to Ash. Hope you're doing well, my friend, watching on X. Only just got, oh, geez, sorry, Craig. Mate, I don't understand it. I don't understand YouTube with the notifications, unfortunately. Gonna be there to bottle another league, hopefully. Big up to Colonel Ward. Thank you very much for saying so much positivity this morning. I love it. Onana at Everton is a weird situation at the moment. Look, Everton have to sell a lot of players by the end of June, unless they want some more points deducted, which will happen. They've literally put the whole team on sale. Obviously not cheap. They're obviously going for their market values and stuff. But they do need to bring in 150 million by the end of this month. So they're going to have to get a little bit of a move on, if I'm honest. Big up to Jones saying, I just think we need to be looking at elite midfielders now that we are challenging in the league and Europe. I get it, but at the end of the day, we also have to keep within a budget. And we've got quite a lot to do this summer. I'll get onto the outs in a minute. You'll understand why we need to do quite a lot. Rather spend 70 million on Hernandez, AC Milan. I know a lot of people are talking about him. You'll get Feyenoord keeper. We'll get Patterson, the keeper from Sunderland, who's been our scout list for years. I highly recommend Patterson. He's also been linked with us as well. So I think it's a case of either you have the Feyenoord goalkeeper or we have Patterson, or the vice versa. I think that's literally what's happening between Liverpool and Arsenal. Whoever gets the one goalkeeper will get the other. But yeah, they are bigging him up because of his speed, yet we are camped on the opposition's box 90% of the matches. Now, this is the difference between Sesko. So I highly do recommend you watch some Sesko games. Now, I don't say highlights, because I think doing that stuff on YouTube is just ridiculous. Watch an actual game from Sesko. Now, he has got the ability to just hit off a shot whenever. Just needs that tiny little bit of space and he'll go for it. Now, we don't have that in Arsenal. We don't have players that are just confident enough just to go, right, I'm just going to take a shot now. Sod it. Now, I wouldn't say he's accurate every time. He's not. If anyone's watched Mighty Ducks, He reminds me a little bit of that big brute that could just continuously hits the pucks at the goal. Eventually, he'll get it on target and it'll be a cracker and it'll probably rip the net open. But yeah, Sesko does need a little bit of help, and he will get it because he's still young. He's not anywhere near his prime yet, so give him time. I listen to none of them. I just wait for official club announcement. I totally get it. I was talking about Jose Mourinho. Oh, fair enough. Yes. Jose Mourinho, interesting appointment, I have to be honest. Very impressive by Fenerbahce, by the way. Fantastic stuff they managed to do to get Jose Mourinho to come to that league, especially with everything that happened last season. But yeah, absolutely incredible. But yeah, interested to see what happens. Yeah, Man United pay the money for Braithwaite. Thank you very much. Braithwaite will definitely be leaving. I do think that Everton need to lower their price tag a little bit. I get why they're asking that much. But what they also need to realise is Everton are quite in a bit of a financial mess. And a lot of clubs know this. They are not going to pay what Everton ask for their players because they know they're in a mess. And that's the problem there. Right, let's talk about the outs now, people. Right, so the first one up is multiple clubs looking at Smith Rowe. And I think it was regarded about an hour before I went live. Brighton have also showed an interest in Smith Rowe, which would tell me that Brighton have sorted out their new manager, personally. So we've got to keep an eye out for that one. But for me, the most likely destination for Smith Rowe this summer will be Fulham. I think Smith Rowe will head to Fulham. Marco Silva has basically been promised a lot of money this summer to improve the squad. So basically, Fulham will become Arsenal B squad because the amount of ex-Arsenal players there. I think they'll have 5. Leno, William, Iwobi. Yeah, they'll have 5, won't they? If they get Eddie and they'll get Smith Rowe, that'll be 5. But yeah, look, Smith Rowe will be leaving 100%. Not even slightly concerned that he'll stay. He will be sold. I think we might be able to get a little bit more than we are asking for. But yeah, I'm 100% sure he'll go this summer, which I'm not normally confident about sales, but for me, Smith Rowe will go. With the amount of interest there is from Premier League clubs that got money as well, I think he'll go. Right. The reason I've put this title is because people have got an issue with how something was worded yesterday. Now, something was, I can't remember exactly how it was worded. I think it was Arsenal reluctantly looking to sell Eddie Nketiah. Now, we have to remember, right, if you're selling a house, you are not going to say, I don't want this house, it's falling to pieces, the stairs don't work, the windows go inwards, not outwards, all that kind of stuff. It's you're taking value off the player because the team will be going, well, you don't want him, so just give us like switches for like a couple of bounty bars or something, right? You have to sound like you actually want to keep him to sell him. And the reason I thought of Del Boy is basically there's an episode where Del Boy's trying to sell a car, and there's so much wrong with the car that he's basically saying like automatic windows because the window closes as soon as you close the door. So it just, for me, it's like people just chill. These are selling tactics. It's well known. You're not going to say, oh, we're going to sell him because we don't want him. There are going to be some of those. Don't get me wrong. Tavares, we all know no one wants him at Arsenal. We're not going to say we don't want Nelson. We're not going to say we don't want Ramsdale. We're not going to say we don't want Thomas Partey. We're just not going to say that kind of stuff. You're not going to say, oh, we want to sell Partey because he has his massive injury record. We all know he's got a massive injury record. Everyone knows about it. But you're not going to say it. It just makes no sense. So just chill. Just chill when someone puts something on X. Exactly. I know this is the thing. But it's the meltdown that I saw, Luke. It was absolutely mental. I'm like, come on, people. You don't just, honestly, people just need to chill. Uh, like, wow. But yeah, it is what it is. We are going to be selling players. We are going to be bringing in a lot of money this summer. The most we've ever sold is what I expect. So, fingers crossed. Right, before we move on to the next bit, let get the Conga, Eddie, Tavares, Ramsdale, Tierney, Nelson, and Party out of the club. They should all be expected to leave. I kind of expect them all to leave. Tierney, for me, will go to Celtic. Party probably goes to Turkey, actually. I'll be honest. But people need to be prepared for that price. It's not great, I'll be honest. If you compare it to Casemiro, who supposedly Saudi Arabia want to pay an absolute fortune for, just chill your boots a little bit, unfortunately. Saudi Arabia just like to make a statement with a signing. Casemiro is a statement signing. Thomas Partey is not a statement signing. There is a huge difference in terms of money when that is the case. When it's not a statement signing, there is no value to it. So Saudi Arabia would never pay that amount of money for Partey, which they would for Casemiro, because Casemiro is a statement signing. They're signing someone that has won multiple trophies. Partey hasn't. So there is never, you can't really compare the two regarding money value when it comes to Saudi Arabia anyway. Tavares, yeah, at some points, hopefully someone wants him. I'll take 5 million right now, if I'm honest. Lokonga, Bayern Munich are interested. Obviously, Vincent Kompany is now the new manager at Bayern Munich. Obviously, Vincent knows Lokonga as well, so that obviously helps. We'll get on to the different players in a minute who could be going. 25 million, and we sell ESR. I expect it to be 30 million, if I'm honest, Cole. I know it's not far of difference, but 25 is the bog standard for me. I think 30 million we should be able to do. Honestly, mate, to me, it's mad. I see Smith Rowe at Fulham, Fiera, Robinson, Paulina, Fulham got big asked. Yeah, I'll be honest, Paulina, there's no actual links with him yet. I expect there will be, but at the moment, nothing. Anthony Robinson, quality left back. You can no, obviously back at a couple of seasons ago when they were linked with Bayern, were linked with Robinson, everyone was like, "What the heck are they doing?" You can see the quality now, can't you? That's the thing. You can see the quality in Anthony Robinson. He is quality. Andres Priela, yeah, I'll be honest. I think he's quality as well. I think he might stay though, but it does make you question if they want Smith Rowe. Surely Piero must be going then, because you wouldn't want two of those type players in the same squad. They wouldn't play with each other unless you're going to put Smith Rowe on the left, which you could do because Smith Rowe can do it. But yeah, it makes you question mark, doesn't it, when you see other players being linked? You think, well, hang on, how does that work? It's a bit like Ross Barkley. Ross Barkley for me is Douglas Luiz's replacement at Aston Villa, but people haven't realised that. But I think that's the replacement for him, because Douglas Luiz wants to leave Aston Villa. So yeah, it's transfer windows are fascinating. I love them. This is Edo we're talking about here, the same guy who can get a fee for Aubameyang, send him to Barcelona only for Barca to flip him to Chelsea 6 months later for 12 million. Mission failed. Look, Auba was a different situation. Auba was. You when it comes to this situation, you're going to be on one side of the fence. There is no sitting on the fence with this one. I feel it for me. I have my own theory on it, and I stick with my theory. And from what I know more, and I'm learning more and more at Arsenal, is I am correct with my theory. So Auba and Arsenal were never going to work with Arteta. Never going to work. I don't know why we offered him a new contract. It makes no sense whatsoever. But it is what it is. But regarding Edu has definitely got better and better. He's negotiation with, because he's now working with Jason, who is his sidekick, and Jason is doing a great job as well. So I've got to big them both up for this. But I do expect a great summer. I honestly do think we will bring in between 140 and 150 million, maybe more, depending on if someone surprising leaves, like a Jesus. Obviously, then you're going to get more money. But yeah, for me, there's going to be a lot of change this summer, for the better as well. No, but I know it's mad. Bournemouth could be in for Nketiah if Solanke leaves. 100%. Palace and Forest been linked to, in my opinion. Eddie has been linked with Crystal Palace, Wolves, Fulham, Bournemouth. I would expect if Solanke does leave to, but then Solanke, for me, Solanke, I think will go to Tottenham. That's what I expect. I expect Dominic Solanke to go to Tottenham. And then obviously Bournemouth will be looking for a new striker, and it makes sense to go and get Eddie. So yeah, there's lots still to happen. I'm watching at the start. Can't see Kovic as okay. No worries, no worries. Both Partey and Casemiro are washed. I'd be pissed if what they would see the situation with Casemiro. I think it's I don't know how to put it in the best way. Okay, all right. This is probably the best way of doing it, right? There's two forward focuses, right? One is just a bog standard forward focus, being driven by a lovely old man for 20 years, done nothing really with it. It works just. The other forward focus was driven by trying to think of someone everyone will know. Being driven by Tom Holland, was seen in the Spider-Man movie, and is well famous. That is the difference between Thomas Partey and Casemiro. Casemiro has got the trophies, and Saudi Arabia will find that as a massive showcase to sell him to the people of Saudi Arabia. So they would put it in massive highlights. Look at this. We managed to get a former World Cup winner, Champions League winner, blah, 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 blah. If they were to do that to Thomas Partey, they'll be like, we've managed to get Thomas Partey. And I'd be like, oh, cool. So yeah, that's the best way of putting it. Sorry, I know I'm weird. If Salah and Diaz stay, then that's great. If not, it's like the forward area is area we need to improve. Nunes just needs to get better. 100%. Takes time, mate. Offer whoever takes Eddie a lifetime supply. Wrigley, says Colonel Ward. Big up to you. Piera being linked to Atletico Madrid. I'm surprised, I'll be honest, due to the fact I know what's happening at Atletico Madrid. Maybe that was like a plan B option to, because the plan A operation is working quite well at the moment at Atletico. Maybe they had a plan B with Pereira, but I've not heard it yet. I'll be honest, only because I know plan A is working pretty well at the moment. Big up to my pod brother. Morning, Brenny. Hope you're doing well. Big up to the 200 people currently watching as well. Thank you ever so much for tuning in. Please do hit a like. Please hit a subscribe as well on the Armory TV and Full Time Sports Network. It will help us out tremendously. I will be doing this twice a week at least, whilst we haven't got the Arsenal to watch. Buy one Lukonga, get an Eddie free. I like it. But for me, we actually have got some value in Eddie, and I do hope that we can manage to do it. But yeah, we'll wait and see. Right, let's get on to any other business. There is lots when it comes to transfer outs. So Zinni, possible, could leave. I think it's perfect time, perfect value for him as well. I'm more than happy to get rid of Zinni right now. Kivior, one to watch out for. AC Milan have put him as a priority. So watch out for Kivior possibly leaving. Eddie, I've covered. Jesus, loosely covered. He is wanted by a multiple amount of teams. We've got AC Milan, Napoli, Atletico Madrid. There's probably going to be a few more that haven't really put their names in the hat just yet, but there is a few people that are interested in Jesus. So it's one to keep an eye out for. Big up to everyone saying hello to each other. Love it. Fabio Vieira, question mark. I'll be honest, question mark on Fabio Vieira. Smith Rowe definitely goes. We possibly might have to keep, and I do have to say have to keep Fabio Vieira for squad depth. But I think people don't have a go at me for this, but I think we could cope without them. I think we could cope with both without Smith Rowe and Fabio Vieira. If we was to get Onana and Fofana, let's ignore the fact that they rhyme. Oh, crikey. I've just realised that's going to be fun of watching. I'm going to Onana to Fofana. God. To Saka. Oh, my word. Anyway, let's move on. I think if we go to get Fofana and Onana and we kept Nwaneri, who I need to talk about in a minute, I think we could cope without Fabio and Smith Rowe quite easily, in my opinion. But yeah, we'll wait and see. Ramsdale will be sold. We're just waiting for where he's going, if I'm honest. That sounds really horrible, but yeah, so Ramsdale's going. I hope he does really well. I have no issues with him at all. But it doesn't click right now with us and the way we play. Reece Nelson, there's no interest at the moment, but we will be open to sell him. We'll wait and see. Finally, Tomiyasu. Now, obviously, he signed a new contract, but he didn't sign a very long contract, which would suggest to me that we are keeping his market value high for possibly selling him. If you were to sign him for a 5-year contract, that means he's going to stay at the club for hopefully for 4 or 5 years. But we haven't done that with Tommy. So that would suggest to me that we're keeping his market value. So that's one to watch out for. As for loans, Miles Lewis-Kelly will be going out on loan at some point this summer. Sago Jr. will also be going out on loan. I believe he's going to a League One team. As for Nwaneri, unsure. We're trying to find a very good loan, which is not very easy to do. I know a lot of people go, "Oh, surely," but it's when we signed him to his new deal, we paid him quite a lot more money because obviously there was a lot of interest from Chelsea and Man City, so we had to pay him a lot more money. Now, obviously, when a loan club comes in, they obviously pay a substantial amount of their wages. That's going to be quite tricky with Nwaneri, I'll be honest. So it's something to bear in mind. We'll have to wait and see what happens with Nwaneri. Right, before I move on to other Arsenal news, which is pretty much loads of random stuff, let's quickly go in to see what people are saying. Onana and Fofana to replace ESR and Fabio would be good business. 100% Luke. Totally agree. For me, great business. If you think you can get two players that honestly improve your squad, and they do, Fofana and Onana definitely improve your squad for less than Bruno Guimaraes, I'm all over it. And Fofana is 25. He's hit his prime. He's coming into his prime now. He's quality. He is quality now. And it's 25, 30 million quid. I'm having it all day, every day. Temi would take 60 million for Kivior. I wish. It's going to be nowhere near that. We wouldn't need them. We could drop Havertz behind striker, but then we're playing a different system, which, look, we will be slightly different in the way that we play next season. We'll have a slight plan B. Won't be a massive plan B. It'll be a slight plan B. So I get where you're coming from. And this is, again, why we don't need Fabio and ESR. We've got Havertz is another reason why I was saying it. Big up to Chris giving me some F1 transfer news. Ocon is leaving Alpine. Yeah, I heard this. And no way. Really? Ocon going to... Oh, jeez. That's madness. I'd promote Nwaneri to our first team. He's already been promoted, Luke. He's already been promoted. He's already got that promotion, which is why we're now looking at a loan for him. Yeah, he's already been promoted, mate. So he's already part of the first team squad. He'll get a proper number next season. You will see him on the first team pictures next season as well. You should do anyway. Give him League Cup, FA Cup, some Premier League and Champions League minutes. Sorry, it's just the screen's gone back up. We might even force his way into our starting 11. I think he's good enough. But what I'm slightly wary of, and look, I will always be critical when I need to be. And this is where I'm going to be critical. Arteta needs to trust other players. Now, Nwaneri is good. He's quality for me. I wish we saw some more of that last season. We didn't. So we need to trust it. Nelson was around the same age as Ray Parlour when he was at bit parts of regular. Would like Nelson to be that, but cannot see it. Yeah, I can't see it, mate. Look, at the moment, no interest in him. So at the moment, he's going to be staying with us. So yeah. Looks like Antonelli or Sainz at Mercedes. Wolf obsessed with Antonelli and said Hamilton replacement will be a bold one. Oh, interesting. Mikel secretly cooking. I reckon he wants to play 4-4-2, bring back Arsenal days of inverted winger either side with deep lying forward. I'm not going to tell you what he's planning, but there is a slight plan B in operation, and you'll see that next season. But yeah, plan A will be our main plan, and then we will have a slight plan B as well. It's not going to be a drastic one, but it's definitely a plan B. There were stupid links to Red Bull for Ocon, considering Max hates him. Oh, jeez. Yeah. You only need to watch that documentary. You'll see the hatred for each other. Right. Let's move on to it is confirmed the exit of Miedemeier. Right. So I need to bring up the list. Right. So Arsenal obviously released their retain list the other day. I think it was yesterday, maybe the day before. I can't remember. And unfortunately, Miedemeier is obviously on there. Obviously, we all know Miedemeier was leaving. She announced it a couple of weeks ago. There will be an announcement shortly of where she's going. I believe I know where she's going. And I believe we're getting a player from that team that she's going to. So it's technically like a swap, but it's not because they're both frees and we will sign one and they'll sign the other. Anyway, so the list of players that are leaving is Bandera, Amari Benjamin, Lewis Brown, Serjan, Cooper, D'Angelo, Davies, Ajeri, El Neni, Foran, Gracic, Hilson, Jeffcott, John Jules, Kirk, Sweet, Marchesi, Miedemeier, Okwanko, Ryan Suarez, and Taylor Hart. There are 3 players in discussion with Arsenal. I'll be honest, there's really only 2. Koji Dubry, we are still in negotiations with him for a new deal. I hope we get it done. However, there are some other big clubs that also like to give chances to the youth, which unfortunately backfires on us a little bit. But yeah, let's hope Koji Dubry stays. I will be upset if we don't keep him. Carl Hine, I do believe, will stay eventually. If you look at the release list, we've lost 2 goalkeepers in just that as well. We would need a 3rd goalkeeper. I think Carl Hine would like to have some first team action. But if we could keep Hine, I would be happy. Raw Waters, for me, is gone. He has announced that he's leaving, but for some reason, Arsenal decides to put that we are in discussions. We've got a contract on the table for him, but for me, Waters will leave. I think he'll go to Rangers. But yeah. Let's have a look. Guna Greg saying, sorry, way behind you. Who's the centre backs? Hurd, Diamonde, or Silva? No. At the moment, it's going to be Hatto from Ajax will be the centre back. And honestly, Guna Greg, ask away, mate. Even if I finish the stream by the time you finished, put your questions in and I'll try and get back to you, mate. So yeah, don't worry about it. But yeah, Hatto is our main one. Diamonde is a possible. But and also Faye from Barcelona is another one. He's a 19-year-old centre back. So they are very young very young centre backs. I think it's mainly because Saliba and Gabriel are obviously young themselves, established. So yeah, it makes sense to try and sign a young centre back as well. So it's for me, it's going to be Faye or Hato. It could actually be both of them as well. That wouldn't shock me. But yeah, they are the centre back at the moment. Ocon and Magnuson's chaos carnage end in tears, 100% mate. Right, let's move on to other business. Right, obviously, I haven't spoke about Arsenal for a while, so a lot of people are going to know. So bear with me if you already know it, but I just like to update as much as I possibly can. So Stina Stenius has signed a new contract with Arsenal and will be staying at Arsenal. Leah Williamson obviously signed a new deal, will be staying with Arsenal. Arteta is extremely close to signing a new deal with Arsenal. It will be a big pay increase. It is what it is. We'll talk about that when it gets announced. Congratulations to Arteta also for winning the Best Premier League Coach Award in the Dubai Globe Soccer Awards. Now, a lot of people have got an issue with this, and I kind of get it, but also you kind of need to look at the bigger picture. Now, the Premier League Coach Award is an award for just the Premier League coaches. So there's 20 coaches that are available to choose from. Now, the reason that they chose Arteta, and I do get this, is because of our 28 wins and our 18 clean sheets. Yes, we didn't win the league. I get it. But the judging panel, which are ex-footballers, by the way, so, you know, I'm pretty sure they know what they're talking about, we're just impressed with the amount of wins we got and the amount of clean sheets. And if you just look at that stat, if you didn't know the teams, and you looked at someone had won 28 times out of 38 games and got 18 clean sheets, you would have assumed that they would have been a title challenger, probably won it. But we didn't, and that's sad. I hope next season we go one better and we win it. But that is why Arteta won that award, and I fully back it. Well, yeah, that was obviously a very true point as well. But look, yeah, this was the Dubai Globe Soccer Awards, so it's not English based. It's multiple different judges from all over the world, all ex-footballers. You know, yeah, I think what probably didn't help Unai was some of the defeats that they had. They did have some sticky defeats. If you look at some of their fixtures, they're a bit smelly. I'll tell you, if the season, if I was an Aston Villa fan, because of those horrible defeats that we had, I would have question marks a little bit on him. But that's just me. I look, I am someone that loves to not concede goals. I can't stand. It's obviously the defender inside me. I just don't agree that you should be letting goals in. It's just me. Well done to Arteta for winning that award. Proper Arsenal fans are normally happy when a player all win. Yeah, exactly, mate. Look, I get it. I get why people are not happy, because obviously you would have assumed that Pep Guardiola would win it due to the fact that he won the league. But if you look at the finer details, 28 wins, 18 clean sheets, Man City didn't get that. They probably got the wins, but they definitely didn't get the clean sheets. And performance-wise, you know, until the end of the season, they weren't great. That end of the season, they were just like the animal that they are. They need to be stopped at some point. Tranquilizers can be brought. But yeah, and finally, for people that obviously not Arsenal fans, probably are not aware of this. Anyone that's an Everton fan will be aware of this. Obviously, Kevin Campbell is very poorly at the moment, so we do want to wish him and his family all our best wishes, and we hope for a speedy recovery for Kevin Campbell, former Arsenal Everton forward. Yeah, obviously well known, seeing on YouTube as well. Works with Sophie at the Highbury squad. And other places as well. So yeah, hopefully Casey gets well soon. Right, regarding next show, it will be Saturday night. Before the Euros kick off, I thought Saturday night, we'll do a nice show. It'll be very similar to this. So if you can tune in, please do. Gunny Greg, if there's any more questions, mate, just put them in the comments and I will get back to them as soon as I can. Finally, gap looks to be closed on Man City. I don't see City doing 5 in a row. They will want to win Champions League back. 100% on Kevin, get well soon. 100%. Prayers for Super Kevin Campbell. You got me singing it, Luke. Well done. Right, guys, I will see you on Saturday night when I do the next Arsenal news. But take care, everyone. One last one. I was on Twitter yesterday. City fans said, "Why does Pep get so judged and so high standards? No manager had 720 million to spend in." Well, yeah, honestly, let's just wait to see what happens with City, and then we'll talk to City fans. Then we'll talk to them. Right, guys, I'm out of here. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your week. I will see you on Saturday.